Hey, you guys, it's me. I'm back. So, as you know, I'm doing this series where I'm answering the questions that women had that they left on their note cards at the last brunch that I gave. So, I am not going to just talk a lot. I'm going to jump right into the questions. Of course, I am going to ask you to support the channel, to like, share, and subscribe. If anything that I'm saying resonates with you or you feel like it's something you want to share with another woman, this channel is for the ladies. Women are my jam. You hear me say it all the time, and I just want to see us living and doing well in life, spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally. So let's get right in it with this first question. Well, not first question, with the question of the week. So when I read this, I was like, huh. So the question was how to feel smart and sexy without being sexual. And I think it like gave me pause for a minute because they really are two separate things, smart and sexy. Even though some people may find someone who is smart attractive or sexy, I am going to focus on the second part of the question, which is the how to feel sexy without being sexual. And you know me, I am always going to what? Start off with the definition. Good old Merriam-Webster, old school definitions. So when I was looking in the dictionary, not the physical dictionary, because I don't have one of those anymore, but the online dictionary, you know how they have like one, two, three, four, five, definitions of the particular word you're looking for. And I took the top two because even though it's the word, right? Sexy. It had two different definitions at the very beginning that I thought were relevant because you can look at them in both ways. So the first one was sexual definition, sexually suggestive or stimulating, erotic. So I think we all kind of know what that version of sexual is. So it's someone that is purposely being erotic or sensual or sexy. We all want to be that kind of sexy, right? Because and especially like on this particular, channel, I'm talking about or talking to women who are trying to walk in a way that's pleasing to the Lord. I am a believer, and this is an area that I even struggled with, back in my 20s, because if we as women are all being honest, that there is a way that you can use your looks, your body, the way you carry yourself to kind of manipulate situations for your good. So, me and my sister used to always be like, use your powers for good, not evil. Use your powers for good, not evil. And that's real. A lot of women maybe won't admit that, but it's the truth. There are thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of women who use the sensual part of being sexy for gain. We don't want to do that. That is not what God has called us as women and children that belong to Him to do. So I want to more look at the secondary version because I believe that this particular definition is more in line with what we as believers want to want to work towards if we're even thinking about being sexy. So this particular one is saying generally attractive or interesting and appealing, because there's nothing wrong with someone being attracted to you. There's nothing wrong with you being attracted to someone or to be appealing. Or interesting, because who wants to be boring? You want people to find you to be interesting, especially if you're entering into a relationship with someone. You want them to be attracted to you. You want them to find you interesting. You want to appeal to their senses, whether it's visually, like your knowledge base being compatible, different things like that. So I think it really comes back to what I always say, like, what is your why behind why you do what you do? So what is the motive in you wanting to portray yourself as sexy, right? So I know, like, especially when I first got married, because I was never like a super provocative dresser anyway. Like, I was kind of more on the conservative side. And I did have like some things that may be like a little more form fitting when I got like in my 30s and stuff like that. And I went through this whole thing where I really wanted to be sexy. You know, I had been married, you know, I had kids. And sometimes we as women feel like we're losing, you know, our attractiveness. And so then we try to, you know, do things to make us look and feel more sexy, right? That that didn't go well. So I should have just stuck to being just my regular old self. Just my regular old self. I don't need to be sensually sexy. Unless of course, you know, um, it calls for that like in your marriage, you know. Of course you want your husband to always find you sexy in a sexual way because you're married. But anyway, I'll be getting off topic. Y'all know me. So, what is your motive for wanting to be or feel sexy? If you're getting dressed in the morning and you're, you know, saying, okay, I really like the way this looks on me. It makes me feel good about myself. When I wear my eyeliner this way, or if I comb my hair this way, I really feel confident. I like the way I look. It helps me carry myself and feel, you know, just attractive to myself. Nothing wrong with that. If you're getting dressed in the morning and you're purposely putting on things in a provocative way because you want attention, or because you're trying to attract a man, or because you know feel like you need to do these things in order for people to like you or want to be around you, or again, like I say, just the attention, because we know as women there are certain things that are just going to get attention. So for instance, you know, a lot of women these past few years getting the, you know, the BBLs. And even though they look so abnormal, it's an attention grabber. You can't help but see, especially if someone like has gotten like one that's like way over the top. You can't help but see and notice it. So of course, yes, in my opinion, you're doing that for the attention. I do believe, especially, you know, as I've grown in my walk with the Lord, that when God said that He made me fearfully and wonderfully, then I have to believe that. So the size breast He gave me, this is the size He wanted me to have. So I don't have to go out and, you know, try to get a bigger size, because when I was younger, I was like, dang, I don't have enough boobs. Me and my cousin used to talk about it all the time, like, because the women in my family, we just, you know, don't have, you know, large boobs. When I was younger, I was like, I didn't want a huge one, but I wanted some more until I learned how to just be content and pleased with who God made me to be. This is the size He wanted me to be. And so what I'm saying to God is, what you gave me is not good enough. Even though you are the creator and the maker, what you gave me is not good enough. Now, I am not knocking plastic surgery, so don't like feel offended or judged if you have had work done, because that's not the point of this. But what I'm saying is, we as women have to learn how to embrace the natural things that God gave us. And yes, do we need to work out, eat right, and those kinds of things? Of course, you know, for longevity and just to look good and feel good and be healthy. But even with, you know, working out, let that be your motive. Don't let your motive be because you want to be sensual or sexy. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay. So motive, that's what we're talking about. Um, and this was the last point. I already talked about it. Are you purposely being sensual or sexual? And again, if that is your intention, if you're purposely doing this, you have to ask yourself why. And I will even go a little further and say, most men, when they are thinking about their own particular wife or girlfriend, they don't want a wife or a girlfriend that is just provocative. I don't care what you see today. Like, a lot of these men today, to me, my opinion again, this is my channel, my opinion, they're not real men. Because a real man would never want to parade you out in a sheer dress with a thong on and a bra. I don't care how bad your body is. I don't care how fabulous, how wonderful how just amazing you look. A real man does not want to have you as a showpiece for other men or women, whatever, to be gawking at you and like, look here, looky, this is what I have. I know my husband. Oh, I was gonna make this point earlier and I got off on a tangent. When like we were in our 20s, even though like I said, I didn't dress like sexy or anything like that, but sometimes I would wear like skirts that were like, above my knees. They might be a little bit short because that was kind of the trend. I ain't gonna say what decade that was a trend. And he would be like, that skirt is too short. And I just be like, oh, you're trying to control me. You can't tell me I'm grown. This is what I'm gonna wear. But really, he was like really trying to protect me because he know how men think. So he was saying that doesn't really look appropriate for you to be wearing. And then he would be like, you can't even bend over because, you have to stoop down when you got short stuff on. He was like, because if you bend over, I could just see all your butt. But, because I was young and I was independent and you couldn't tell me nothing, I didn't take it that way. But as I got older, I began to understand he was really just protecting me, protecting my image and what people would think about me. And not that we have to care what people think. That's not where I'm going with that. But that was his perception. And as I began to grow and walk with the Lord, I really began to understand that we as women, we don't have to use our bodies and our sexuality to get what we want in life. Everything that God has ordained for you to get and for you to have, you can get it God's way. If you walking in obedience and you walking in faith, everything that you are desiring, God will give to you. And so I hope I answered that question well. Let me go back. How to feel smart and sexy without being sexual. Yes, I believe it's just the way you carry yourself. And the other thing is, ask the Holy Spirit to guide you and to lead you. Point blank. Now, some women, let me say this real quick. Some women, they are just shapely, and no matter what they wear, it's going to look provocative because they may have the curvy hips and the large breasts. And even if they are like completely covered up, like right now, I just got a long sleeve, shirt on, but, it's not V-neck, it's up here. But even somebody who was like, well endowed, it's going to look different on them. It is going to look sexier. And so you can't help the body that God gave you. But what I would say is, when you get dressed, ask the Lord, is this appropriate? The Holy Spirit will check you. God will check you. I know, because I know there's been times and seasons in my life where I have worn things and I really felt okay about it. But then later I will go to put that same thing on and I would just feel the Holy Spirit like, that's too tight. That's too short. What you don't need to put that on. Why you got that on? So that's really what I would say. Don't aim for being sexual. Just be you. Just be you. You don't have to be sexual. You don't even have to aim to be sexy unless you're going with the second definition. Aim to be attractive, interesting, and appealing. Don't aim to be sexy and sensual. Okay, you guys, that's it. I'm at 13 minutes. I'm trying to keep these under 10 minutes, you guys. So I'm at 13 minutes. I am going to sign off. Again, remember to like, share, and subscribe, because something about the algorithm, that's as much as I know about it. So I love you guys. I really, really do. I want us all as women to be the best version of ourselves. And any seed that I may be able to plant, I don't care if one person watches this video. If it's just one and it affects one person, then that is what I'm here for. That is what I'm all about. So again, I love you guys. Enjoy your weekend, whenever this gets uploaded.